Have you ever noticed how sometimes you tell yourself you'll only take one bite, but before you know it, you've eaten way more than you planned? That's not just lack of willpower, it's the power of cravings. And believe it or not, some foods are scientifically designed to keep you hooked, making you think you're satisfying hunger when in reality you're stuck in a cycle of addictive eating. In today's video, we're going to uncover the 4 foods that trigger some of the most powerful cravings in the human body, why they have such a strong hold on your brain, and most importantly, how to stop eating them before they sabotage your health, your fitness, and even your mood. Stick with me till the end, because once you understand these cravings, you'll never look at your favorite snacks the same way again. Let's dive right in, starting with one of the biggest culprits, processed sugar. Sugar is everywhere, from breakfast cereals to sauces, from flavored yogurts to your mid-afternoon candy bar. Sugar hides under many different names like high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, sucrose, and more. The scary thing is that sugar activates the same reward pathways in your brain as addictive substances do. That means every time you eat it, dopamine is released, giving you that temporary feeling of pleasure and satisfaction, but when it wears off, your body screams for more. That's why you can't stop at one cookie or one piece of chocolate. Your brain is literally trained to crave more sugar. The worst part is that over time, sugar can lead to weight gain, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and even brain fog and mood swings. So how do you stop sugar cravings? One powerful way is to stabilize your blood sugar levels by replacing refined sugar with natural sources of sweetness like fruit. When you're craving something sweet, grab an apple, some berries, or even a piece of dark chocolate that's at least 70% cacao. Another trick is to increase your protein and healthy fat intake throughout the day, because they keep you feeling full longer and prevent those sudden sugar crashes that lead to uncontrollable cravings. And don't forget to stay hydrated, because sometimes thirst disguises itself as hunger and makes you reach for sugar when your body really just needs water. Now let's move on to the second craving powerhouse, refined carbs like white bread, pasta, chips, and pastries. These foods act almost like sugar in your body, because once you eat them, your digestive system quickly breaks them down into glucose, spiking your blood sugar levels. That spike feels good in the moment, giving you a quick burst of energy, but soon after comes the crash, leaving you tired, sluggish, and hungry again. And what do you crave? More carbs. That's why it's so easy to eat half a bag of chips or go back for a second plate of pasta, even when you're technically full. The cycle just keeps repeating. To break free, the secret is to swap refined carbs for complex carbs that digest slowly and keep your energy stable, like quinoa, brown rice, oats, or whole grain bread. These foods still give you energy, but they don't mess with your blood sugar the same way, meaning you stay satisfied longer and reduce those crazy cravings. Another tip is to always pair carbs with protein and healthy fat. For example, instead of eating plain bread, add avocado or nut butter. That slows digestion and prevents the spike and crash effect that fuels your cravings. The third food that hijacks your cravings is salty, ultra-processed snacks like chips, crackers, and fast food fries. Salt itself isn't evil. Our bodies need sodium to function. But food companies engineer these snacks with the perfect mix of salt, fat, and crunch to make them irresistible. Once you start, your brain craves that intense flavor and satisfying crunch, and stopping becomes a battle. Plus, too much sodium can raise blood pressure, cause water retention, and stress your heart. So how do you stop craving salty snacks? One strategy is to find healthier, crunchy alternatives that still satisfy your taste buds without the overload of sodium and processed oils. Things like air-popped popcorn, roasted chickpeas, or sliced cucumbers with a sprinkle of sea salt can trick your brain into feeling like you're indulging, but without the damage. Another trick is to check your overall diet. Sometimes salt cravings are linked to dehydration or even mineral imbalances like magnesium deficiency. Drinking enough water and adding foods rich in potassium, like bananas or spinach, can balance out your electrolytes and calm those cravings naturally. Finally, let's talk about one of the sneakiest craving triggers, fast food and highly processed meals. These foods are engineered with what scientists call the bliss point, the perfect combination of sugar, fat, and salt that maximizes taste and makes you want more. Ever notice how after eating a burger and fries you feel full but still crave dessert or another snack later? That's not a coincidence. It's a carefully designed formula that keeps you coming back. Fast food also trains your brain to link emotions like comfort, stress relief, or reward with eating, making the cravings even harder to resist. The best way to break free is to cook at home as much as possible, because when you control the ingredients, you control the cravings. Preparing balanced meals with protein, healthy fats, fiber, and plenty of flavor can retrain your taste buds over time, so you actually start craving healthier foods instead of the processed ones. If you still struggle with fast food cravings, try setting rules like a 24-hour pause. When the urge hits, wait one full day before indulging. Most of the time, the craving will pass. Now here's the good news. Cravings aren't destiny. They don't mean you're weak or doomed to be stuck in a cycle of unhealthy eating. They're signals, often triggered by blood sugar imbalances, dehydration, emotional habits, or even nutrient deficiencies. By understanding which foods are hijacking your brain and replacing them with smarter alternatives, you can finally break free. Imagine what it would feel like to have control over your choices, to enjoy your favorite foods without letting them control you, and to finally feel energized, clear-headed, and in charge of your health. That's not just possible, it's achievable, and it starts with small changes like the ones we talked about today. If you're serious about breaking the craving cycle, start by identifying which of these 4 foods is your biggest trigger, and then apply one of the strategies we discussed to replace it with something better. Over time, your body will adapt, your cravings will weaken, and you'll realize you no longer depend on those foods the way you once did.